Brought to you by...
Almost every film is meant to tell some form of a story, and with each story lies an object lesson that is crafted with the sole purpose of ingraining in us some form of lasting impression. If nothing else, the story is meant to trigger a different way of thinking about situations that we might otherwise not have given any thought to. Interactions with people that come into our lives at a brief moment in time and vanish just as quickly. Hello friends, and welcome back to another ETF short film review. Today we are looking at another little gem from Black Hell Productions, the creative minds behind the short Trapped In, which was crafted entirely with an iPhone. This time they bring us two men from different walks of life that are not so far apart as they might first appear. Their lives intersect by chance and affect one another in the smallest ways, but that hold larger meanings. Yes, I would. The style chosen to tell this tale is broken into a series of chapters that aim to tell a story in a style that's familiar to Tarantino. However, to me, each segment comes in far too short to really warrant telling the story in this fashion. I will fully admit that the choice to craft the film in this way does add an interesting flair to the piece, and kept me wondering where they were going with it throughout. We are introduced here to a character who at first glance seems like your average guy. His wardrobe and demeanor showcase someone who at least has a decent job and is in a stable place in life. However, we quickly start to see that he is somewhat down on his luck. He moves like he's being followed, but we don't get to see by what until a little later. The filmmaking choices here lend to the creativity of the filmmaker, as he tells this narrative in a very unique and interesting fashion. We are shown that both of the central characters in this film are living below the means of the masses, stricken with different levels of poverty. One who chooses to portray himself as more well-off than he might actually be, and the other who has accepted his placement in life. The story in this film showcases how appearances can be deceiving. On the one hand, you have someone who is dressed nicer, but is still struggling to get by, while on the other, a clearly poor and struggling man with a pure and kind heart. It's your basic don't judge your book by its cover type of story. So far from what I have seen from Black Hell, they choose to tell stories without dialogue, conveying the narrative through action and visuals, using what they have at their disposal to create something of their own. In a story told without words, our characters deliver great performances throughout, and manage to get across the themes and emotions of the story quite well. I thoroughly enjoyed the creativity on display here. I wasn't sure what to expect going in. At first the story seemed like it might steer towards a supernatural direction, but in the end I was surprised to find a tale as old as time. A simple drama about helping your fellow man and accepting others for who they are. This was a beautiful story that I personally feel others could get a lot out of, especially in times like these where we are all being pushed apart, and where many have turned to selfishness and a harsher treatment of others. I'm giving New Dawn an A. Black Hell Productions is creating some very interesting stories on very limited means, and I absolutely encourage anyone watching to lend them your support. These are filmmakers that I feel have something to say, and who are doing a lot with very little. If only we all had that kind of drive. I've linked their work below for those interested in experiencing their storytelling. That's going to bring this discussion to an end. If you enjoyed this video, please consider checking out more from ETF over on the main channel. If you want to give this channel some support, please consider subscribing over on Patreon. Every little bit helps this channel grow, and I'm working on some fun, exclusive content just for supporters. Until next time, stay safe, and thanks for watching.